Kumasi accountant na poku yes we say ku Kumasi na poku so wono so ko be ku Kumasi ne na am say ade no so na say every week be ku Kumasi na me say ade wo so ne maame ho mfa no oda ko mfa no chi am say and me so ma say na wo so kan you maame so for the past 1 month Enrichi was the first time in 1 month I met in maame akasa 10 minutes anti biasa na America yeah to say Enrichi okate so na na de mitime die na me so you it doesn't mean say that they will go through cool but at least what ma daka ka de niaji na poku hol man wa frɛ Kumasi no maka che de so ne maame situation ni die eye 80-20 that's how we can start 80-20 80% say maame ne beko 20% chance say we believe this asembe ni ntia sheda ne tra se kakra anche na poku papa afre no oso ka wo betime kan nti wa de me tie sa mu sa de maame no woko yet it all mo be 30-40 minutes later na message na ba say the woman was gone enough form nipa ho na aretichi free nipa ho enti ya ye didi ya ho komo emo e betindi abo nipa no eto be obi ho pe obi aka na asema che de keke amena free ni mu ba ko te nipa be mpo ma asem kan wo ka kire we ya na we de ko ya no ntrawo enye se obi mpeso be kana asem but ada evidence wo ho bebre se edipa koma asema che o madanfo pa o mu gididie say asema me go through ni ba me fem pese me ka che obi a ujafo mama dwen na bia me say wa ka wie ya the next 30 minutes afi onam kromo obi no bi hwe ni na we yati obehwe no na tese wo ya announcement kra wo movement tv na nkeye ekunipa eti so bi nya omu confidence say asema wo go through pese wone wo ka na wone ususu ho a you should be proud of yourself for say the pakwon ko what's our confidence in you will share that information with you and more betim dia boa na dia boa ye den kofo nsem ko akiri dodo ito bia ya na gbo say parents ni tuefo ena na afo sem ni ade ya na enye say bo mo person be fa adamfo but adamfo bia kum nipa adamfo bia ma but enamfo bi so nipa yeye ubo na adamfo le ne kwa buruche bo na adamfo le twelve school fees ma no but obi so na adamfo gu na wareye obi na adamfo amle ku ne maame obi na adamfo kwa amle je school e mompaye e ma nyina ye ho na ento wada yensu nkasa etina no me de na ka mo editorial bibiri ni bibia na pesa me ka ho asem but I think say me de besi ho nye de bia na ibibieja ebusafo a monasebo ni me di nkomo bibiri enu anadwo sei metime ni be 1 am na nipa bia send messages bia breme nkofo bi ewo YouTube ya attacking ni ade bi nti be ka chomo se me boya me ntie sa anema no ejo mo le be share with me a me ka me ntie but doesn't mean say wa wo share with me no why bone of course massive nti na wo send ebusase ade na ekoso bibia ankoso nokra makanti na me ho yankofo ahi enye hwe nokra maka na me na me obi di matem a se be predia se wo na adodanko akufu ado na adodanko akufu ado obi obone bra kama papa bi from the nkura brebe sisi obi ye president and ne papa na holmo wadi 81 years enra me hu one Dr. Bawumia pictures be from a friend saying how ko boy hefa no mkoye no Brussels ana Belgium me hu one enra me picture dey be aka me hwe mas that to screen so nyina yenhwe look at him na hu ya yefe oboni suit papa bi say yes 81 years all krankofo di na tem what the president do embrabe no nim wa camera semwa law books na yi wo musa cases wo bebre na so ko yankofo di na tem Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia yankofo di na tem na me intermediate me hodie enya de se me hwe I have a very very tough skin intermediate makachi we say ye nam kwan so yikokum hippopotamus kakraka e de abefie ne ntinye nkotre ne ntatia no mo kwan ho a bullet ba ko ekuta ye no ye de kokum kotre dabi ye behwe ye nima ye fam god na Asare-Bediako dwuma de ni di Bɛkyerɛ mu Saturday morning bia no ye ba ye bedi nkomo ene epono so wahye pono so was former Minister of Information Bɛkyerɛ no Bɛkyerɛ no Fatima Abubakar wabasi na mesenye na nimu na mebeka na nyina chi na meka wo one of the few ministers ya wo holom wa ebia wukuada onpolo san from me brampo o kampo na mesi o no ha no from se brako no nyame aduma Saturday die menya kwan ti a so wo so benya kwan wo wayi no so afa me hye minister wo no abefa me so wo brako no nyame aduma Saturday die menya ekwan bebe kakra nti nya kwan a permission me mane ni Ghana for medi enkomo san wa ye dada ye MPP ye ba fie the same thing what ye nti ya mo so munyam hu nipa de bi why nye post amukudi ya mo ke isi amonte be kenti ibika afro say hey nti amontombo kakra minister ye mo akwa aba ne mate say
do me bia boko
ye de nyamiase is opposition na bo adipa wo hu ya yefe pa stress ni wanim
na nyame ne beda na se anapa ma menchia o na menchia menua mpanimfo a mabeto omo ha in fact ma menfa akwanya iso mboko ka baso
ko ka ho
me ka mechio me follow ni jumadie
eni akwa bi mu akere me
bie na say even ye ko opposition kra na ba mu mbuye he is working online and offline baby onya akwanya bia so obe ne campaign na minim say na adwuma sem oni adaje onfa ho ni obi beka wo aya na abrebia meka say wo politics ya yeye obi ti so no na nka ye wotumi ame wo ka se hempabo akodi na ni enkokoma na ameko ama no
of course
enye obi a why no ho se me ye NPP ni so me career ntimi de mani masie me pese obi behu se me ye NPP ni
ai
and so benefits wo politics mu bia nipa ne pese ogibi meanwhile no ho se ne colleagues on the other side ayo manim ye niam tie aban no na ye de eche se ye nko an ye akrachefo a ye mpese ye de ani betwetwefo ena uchi koko nso aye ni ne ma
medase
intimidie ne wode na nkwa beto wode na ho wode beto ho in government out of government despite whatever challenges he may be going through me nipa no nti koka de se me ye no onim mpo na me ye no strong na me pese me kan o nti man preempt no me ye no strongest advocate for a lifetime opportunity bi on ye se enkoye adwuma ne nke mekọ ne ho demo nyina nti nyame nhya no
na se koka nya such a huge endorsement live video na mewu ne they will meka se mintia se because say ya ma me endorsement minister ma me endorsement but the truth of the matter is that Koka was a strong-willed person, very passionate. Nancy Akwe was watching me, and Nancy Akwe was watching me USP. Me kwa na demiko. What Koka never famiko.
Wow.
Me pakimeka na wa family eko. Obetwa me atese mewie no asane maba.
Hwenefe.
Yes, in fact, eda ye chime ko ye mekan no so.
Entokwa no.
Na entokwa de ende ye enye hwe. 10% casualties allowed. Ya be ko ye no, almost a report. Me ko almost say, omo mama sureties, nipa me no mama bill no. Ye ko hwe mu fie. Afi ye frɛ ba ko ya available. Minister Tio. And your friend other person also got say one so o mama bill ye ko hwe ni fie a ye frɛ ne na ye nya no. And na Koka na say me so me wo ho. It is idea. Mo mesin ko bi fie na me ye replace me deal with me media. Chese to want change man wo the loyalty, the commitment, the passion wo ho no nti sanity demonstration yeah called demonstration 2 weeks ago Monday me ko ho chen hu se Koka nya se get to say police ni bi kra wo Koka kwa be no akoso de ko achi wo nya wo hwe Koka ye ne de tie ni but me so state institutions de especially mu kutekute tuo ni buttons omo de ye na ntalo mo mpepre ne ma ho obetime di nkwasasem why etemusafo Koka we say Koka ne waje ne 5 star ya bona beti
over na therefore ameka say wa mama letter say me so free who also no choose 5 star
no and na class prefect so ewo around Peter ne dem say
oh bako minia
wo ho ye
papa me chia atiefo de ahwefo na minua na pampa mapa na ye bona baso me ya papa
wo so de be
man kana mbwa se ko se yo pentokwe ya
minister who ne only good side ne pa na have for
that was okay so you passionate
Bidi wa na ko
ebi we passionate about things there e dey to ko be
okay
you know the passion enti obi care obi say wasi koka more heat now enti enen komo e bedie no e sheda no so but ehu hia se bedi enkobo chief justice ya president Mahama body table po say ubeyi na die was started na eso hwe adwebode ba kura tirimu a oto enwo a ehie krampu mu committee no mate no enye presidential committee enye arm of the government as identity na mo be ye adwuma statement no comes from Jubilee House the committee na start adwuma e ka mo fa ho ben you are not part of the committee na tell when member Felix Kwacho for so member aden na say wona what this statement ba bon say committee na start interestingly and surprisingly kakra I thought say bia ka adwebolo mutim no kamba mbe na ye na ama na ye settle kakra by too glaring say and the petitioners and the lawyers Chatuti Kata Tadio sorry and Oliver Baka Vomawo NDC big wigs yeah it maybe biya e so clear say a scheme wa makukun wo dem na mode ba se ma me pese ye pabo no eteni bedi ye no ho enkomo Galamsey you say within a week and this for me to make to Galamsey ase eni 5 months mun ye wuri and they would drew kolongu fie kolongu zongu fie odumase efie o ye to Galamsey 24-hour economy and this in TV family but they say omo ye Galamsey efie 24-hour some who say video no ba bi odani fie na hu say anadwo hwe ne window ma ne fie achi and ye to Galamsey excavators brand new excavators and abatown eno ye bedi ehun komo na mo di tori bi about panimu bi ka se bia nura me hwe na em ya kakra me re hoyi panimu a wo ye MPP national executive wo access to both President Kufuado obi a wo party bia wo access to the person obegina radio ni TV so kase wantwi ewo President Kufuado ene Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia panimu national one the first vice national chairman MPP Chemabuti asem na America Chemabuti say bibi sa ba me en surprise me because I want for krako it me say Dr. Bawumia ne Nanado e wo differences bia it cannot be a surprise because it na nipa now the Murafi ye friend saying was it Tanzania president he was so Frederick Chiluba no ye president me megugu akwani din Chiluba and a son in suddenly be president Chiluba ko no the son suddenly be president thinking say akwana ba be ye ne bid na mani nyina oba yo be prosecute no and she root oni e de ne nsiye enti say what different political difference baba there and Kenya news because aware for krako aware for ekontokwa wo hu obi one ne ba aya aka maka be wukrenzi mayase anyhow aso for krako ntokwa enti if there's a political difference biaba don't you it shouldn't come from you to come and say it publicly say difference is biaba ni say e ba enti they will resolve it even though there's no difference makano wa ha MPP ni bia wo betina se na waka se MPP lose election na ye fa so bo nyina nkobo na Akufuado enti na Akufuado kra wo mpeso bo hu ne nimbiem wo mpeso bo hu ne picture wo mpeso bo read the story wo ya wati you because blame na Akufuado ka ho e true chief of staff ka ho e true Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia eso ka ho e true campaign team omo ka ho e true Dr. Matopoko Prempe running mate o ka ho e true Me ba. National chairman waka ho. True. Tell me I'm lying. General secretary waka ho. National organizer waka ho. Appointees obi aka ho. All national executives, constituency executives, regional executives obi aka ho. Ebi obi die to change obi die. But why would there 1%? Obi so there 50%, obi so there 2%, sa ba 3%. Everybody is guilty. Et yesu so fair sentence obi so say when na ye emwa wo bia enkosiaga. There won't be any winner, rather there will be losers. And the loser will be the party. Mr. Mo. Mummy and Febu. Nana Kufuado, 8 years in opposition, 8 years in government, 16 years. And then American was saying, Obia what did 20 years. Yeah, no over to Abano. The person doesn't know anybody in the party, so only leader apart from Nana Kufuado. Nana Kufuado pen with him no, Obi did 20 years. Even 25 for Kran, Nana Kufuado him because one said the whole person Kufu. It ye can once someone. Mommy very careful. And then back to say people around in the Kufuado also. Don't be overly sensitive. Don't be overly sensitive. Criticism on my bar. Don't take it as an insult. A boy on my bar, a normal money to then let it pass. Just let it slide. Don't forget, say, when MPP lost 2008 elections and someone MPP for Ankasa good president John Ekunku for Hono. Now reho meboa. SC me say a bar mummy in Yabotre. In unity, there's strength. Minister, Mammy Fakwan is at you so. Eti ene eminim baby about the best at free say.
Nana, me the best at free CJ. But because of our last comment, no.
Okay. Me
person me had money share party for. Name calling does not win elections. Unity does.
Yeah.
U blame me mechita for so ebeba be blame ubi. Ansa no bi be ya amanyosem adi even 5 years 10 years no. Why sustained in amanyosem no why ache amani 19 team no. Na ye because of wadofo. Amanyosem nye ade a ye no kwantenkro. Nti na Ghana ha say who say independent candidate say omukwa abato a wapre 1% kura onye den. Onye bi. It should tell you say the dom na chechere. And ansa na amanyokuo New Patriotic Party ne mfa ntuma pemfra. Na enye kese te se ne abeye na chese obia ni ti freedom e wo ni polling station ne electoral area ne constituency ne region waboabo bi di na chi na ode ayeden aba frefre kobo ye frefre ne akan ho abom ne abetena se enye ne ye se wo kona akọ blame obi no so be blame o ne ye blame game we will never win because Oko prime minister no be win bia the other people beka send me monya ne enhwe ye me enhwe mfa ye nko power 2028
yeah
ida ne o tena nchen yo wa win a wugidi sa wo nko a wuti no wa ho odin ebetime de yakọ emfa enti no name calling must stop because it does not win elections.
It doesn't.
Unity does.
All right, enti minister na and ode kakabe to aso de yenko.
Enti eno de media si me ba on the judiciary.
Okay. Na ka bese bia yen TV ni free bi bia betima ka 11 bia.
E bia wo asba minister kan. Say no wawie me anka ye bi wi anaka mekan Bɛkyerɛ asem bia ode ma party for. At the time na Bɛkyerɛ ye yi na di. Me for me ubisa me a me fi say Bɛkyerɛ a MPP aban mu ye ma ne kotena afie no. I think say na a how pa and I'm sure the time I vindicated Ura Bɛkyerɛ pa.
Says vindication is in the womb of time.
Yes. I'm not saying be am say give time a time.
And time will tell.
Me say time indeed I vindicated Ura Bɛkyerɛ adwuma pa wa bo ama party no from 8 formation days. Ne bedu baby adodode kakra baaye. Nsem BCC ya ekoba se no so kwotena fie ya in between that time na mu 2021 July ukushia TESCON for our UPSA. Na sembi your kind for me say a very telling. Until every time be am in opportunity at me can na me kind ni statement no. Ono anga se true obi. And I say me forward ma ni sakaye. Or say sa.
There was a for reason wo mu kwa nana.
No.
Okay.
And say about and I mean anybody can check. I say I would rather belong to MPP and be ill-treated. Bɛkyerɛ. That was the title, you know. Now, Tio, or say, I'm quoting, or say, 7 days party. Ushia UPSA test confirm. No, I'm quoting him. 7 days party. I can tell you, it's not an easy task. It involves a lot of difficulties because you are working with humans with various interests. Tio. Regardless of the challenges, I'm jumping on because let me quote to the relevant, you know. Regardless of the challenges, I would rather belong to this party and be ill-treated or maltreated than join any other organization out there calling itself a political party. When I go to Boiling Point on Oman FM, I greet party people and I say, my party is right or wrong, I stand by it. When I say this, it does not mean your party will not wrong you. For MPP, they will wrong you, but it is your party. And I urge you that anytime your party wrongs you, have it as your mantra that it's your party. Unquote. You see, same way for me, it encapsulates everything. People are hurt in the party.
Of course.
You think that President Akufo-Addo is not hurt?
He said.
You think that President Akufo-Addo think Dr. Bawumia winning and compare?
Why not? Compare.
In fact, publicly, or countless occasions, say, obe person obe hand over an MPP person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then this vocal took him on.
Yes. Say it's even unconstitutional. Because I say we're British constitution can begin to know what I say. But when he made mistakes. Maybe BCC a nay given opportunity no can be any different. It doesn't mean that we should use it against him.
And Kofobi so betray no na be mo meboa. Abra the ministers ni be quite betray no. Abra mo serve wo.
That's how ebi mo kura continue to betray him now. Ebi mo say I think Akufo-Addo the loyalty to people and edi ninya more abepmen.
No, says as a maka.
Yeah.
Ebra was president. I kept only saying, say, President Akufo-Addo was loyal to a lot of people. But how many of them were loyal to him? Let me cut the beer.
Yes.
1 minute, I cut 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Unim. Or say MPP Nibia who say going into 2020, 2022, no, now 20 whatever be a party in power. Ejina Ode Mate 2028. Ejina President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo legacy so. It is a one more protect the image and the legacy of President Akufo-Addo. One who young. What I say, because at the end of the day, you go to the Ghanaian people, say, look, free SHS or whatever, policy be body be. But for me, I agree with Mustafa Hamid. Say, none of the MPP policies maybe none, and then it is the communication and how it was implemented in a bigger problem. Why? DDEP, it was necessary evil. What I say at the time, but in Chechemu. Said the choir not also move fast man for instead of carrying people along. And our man is banking sector cleanup. It's the best that ever happened to this country. In the end, and this is for now the cost involved in President Mahama state, any budget statement on the parliament. Peter,
what can be a cooker? Minister Kasama, all right, that you don't take for it to be.
No.
Sir,
say me a loyalty.
Okay, Martin.
Me a loyalty. Odo party. Eba obeka. Obebi obeka. But to me any obiatem. Na achedi or the amount wa fashe. It doesn't work. You need to admit the faults and take blame as part of it.
A collateral damage.
Yes. What you say, but. Yes, we moved the party from our ideologies and started running the party based on people we loved. na mmara na ese etnitini ye jambra no nti mmara na start say ye adwuma no obi wo ho fo so tan na wabedi abemu kakra na kono obi mbedi bi no afọ obi ho tan a then you are not a gameplay your teammate
minister yanko chief justice wo
yo right
ombetu no
mame ma scenario we say mame start me analysis with
before
this
I start no professor Kojo Yanka no professor Kwesi Yanka was me ka just watch ya
prof me chia pa
was wo hwe ye na say ya was ya wota na me kokun kakra me ye me boka ka ba no box me kakra na wa put me to say Bernard was editorial ne de e da ne kwam pepepe I'm humble prof Yankwa
Gordon about this chief justice conversation there is one issue I may major say it has not been addressed.
Okay,
what is the issue? Imagine say ne obi the impeachment proceedings aba against President John Dramani Mahama. Na the biggest idea original so say yemfantu no ene say one ye maame first lady Lordina Mahama out to kwan on a private vacation which he is entitled na ye dia ban sika ene twa tickets e ma ye maame Lordina Mahama eki an pe diem na ya gia tumu say nunti ye ntu o mampanyi ote akonwa so knowing very well say in the Mahama one administration, in Mills Mahama administration, in former President Kufuor administration, in JJ time, media did this not even first ladies, second ladies, no mutu omo allowances. State ne bear responsibility for omo juma omo ye omo nanti omo kwanto ni activities omo ye mo office mbachoti eni yo ye nto abama omo uti asema America mani insano. Now, assembly, no, I just want to establish how trivial the whole thing orchestrated against the Chief Justice is.
Yeah.
And to imagine, says President Mahama, or no na yedi we say dinner, ebeya ne de. And I say a bet na Ghana ha bu ye ni aguso. I try trust say ye ni mu say a president here no mukra ni atwa ticket di omutu kwan. And I am saying this on the basis say the Chief Justice is not an administrative officer for the executive.
Yeah.
The Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary. And all judicial powers is vested in the judiciary under Article 125.3. Mamemo Homao.
Okay.
Ghana hani yedemra yewo supremacy of the constitution and a rule of law. Chief Justice BNUHA Yesheno. Although the process of the appointments and removal and all that involves the president, the Judicial Council, the Council of State, between the time obe take position no and then the end of term, obeja position at all no, onye an appointee or a staff of the executive.
Yeah.
Because Ghana rapport constitution no achiche the authorities of states into 3.
Okay.
And the executive power under Article 58 Clause 1. Or say the executive authority of Ghana shall vest in the president and shall be exercised in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. And to Omampenya Juma Sanya subject to the provisions of the constitution. So now here Article 93.2 vested the legislative power Article 93.2 also subject to the provisions of this constitution. The legislative power of Ghana shall vest in parliament and shall be exercised in accordance with this constitution. And the parliament is subject only to this constitution, not to the president. And I will call Article 125.3. The judicial authority of Ghana, or say the judicial power of Ghana shall be vested in the judiciary. Accordingly, neither the president nor parliament nor any other organ or agency of the president or parliament shall have or be given final judicial power.
Yeah.
In the wisdom of the constitution, no. Say yebano judiciary mu interpretation, final adjudication year. Chief Justice and so to say president in the judiciary.
Yeah.
Also the 2 minutes sanity.
Yes.
On your administrative body. On or you're subject to the authority of the executive. Imagine saying obi beko parliament do akoka say yes say the right honorable speaker of parliament honorable Alban Bagbe yes so the year to kwama parliament eto ticket man enti e ba be pam
e so de ke tunda dada okoduba ya ne yire ne cook me boa house debe ni na omo de omo ko state in the tia nipa be 6
and I am saying say the basis of mo person mo gina so di etu maami na wo ka say o ma hye mu na o ma kyekere da bi NDC fo an hye kokoa mu an kyekere
omo ye na mo de obi ehunu
fie mi ensa ni omo ka kyere ye ese omo mu no reset bebrebe na omo ka ne kyere say omo mu hunu say NPP for doso wo judiciary mododo tio by NPP for they mean say under President Akufo-Addo judges are appointed to the superior court and even the lower court but more target was usually at the Supreme Court enti omadwen almost omoba ese so omo hwehwe NDC for omo so a judge for na omo appoint na omo nkrofo nkodoso ewo superior court omo anka no kokoa mu abonten
what kind of abonten
even after omo lose omo we lose election omo win abai the national chairman of the NDC oko granting interview or say Chief Justice and the oko say the easy ho no mani kire
I said it
no omo ba say omo ba be to Chief Justice and fa ho ne say say waye papa na waye bone ana wonye bibia omo kan sie President Mahama no accept even in opposition and NDC for lawyer for and somehow no ankasa a bebre wa bobi o show you so aba matia e kan na che say oye na dwene say at all cost maame no ye be chichiro ye be sane ye sese etu no na godon you know the interesting thing aba ye de bo techi ye de bo ni wie ya na asoki wo kerosene mu eduru ba so a ye de bebo no
e be go twice
so all those who are advocating for maame no it's not for her as an individual but we are saying say obeda sorry ochina Chief Justice now wo adwene ye ne say wo de na eba no are you trying to say so no time will be co-terminus with yours
I said it
because on also so beko no be aba beka se na ni mu kra anya ne fe enti me the petition aba yenyi no uko mo say ai article 14610 Emma President Akonya say he may suspend the Chief Justice subject to investigation or mobile babe enti he has the power when the Constitution says may a discretionary power any the amount. So knowing how trivial the issues are, President Mahama could have chosen to say I will not suspend the woman.
In fact, in the case of Mrs. Charlotte was saying, President Akufo-Addo, you na Constitution says shall suspend and I'm what? May. Was it May or shall? Yeah, check
146 in the case of the Chief Justice in May.
No, I'm talking about
their removal is all subject to Article 146 because their appointment is also pursuant to qualification.
So, Nana Akufo-Addo then decide they say one suspend the man until say assembly be die ye ya report to be told anymore. Yen the Constitution is only one obey bia. Constitution is one man ntina one tina. Ese one kwa report to bas one tina one kwa one ko. Eba ese one omonko. Enwano no. He didn't suspend her. But what dear when you suspended even ahead of receiving the petitions.
And I am telling you, say, it is so sad, okay, because NDC for no basis in an say, ye probably in because you say President Akufo-Addo time near Pamo Mame Charlotte say.
Yeah.
Now, Brago don't know and even this particular studio, analysis on this issue.
Yeah.
Now, and Kwalano Mokasana at the time of that incident, let me say no mundi politics. Yeah, baby. And I'm in the deputy ISIS. Omo church petition against each other.
Yes.
I can't talk ma audio babonti omo mo papa mo ho ama omako. If you hear the audio
trading accusations
na bomo chiche free so ase be catch us or then chima we ginechi. And even that no a call for investigation, not any rash action. Omo ankasa inside na no mo submit documents. But you have a situation
other to the Yoko.
So at the end of the day, no, don't come and trivialize and say because Omomuhu procurement breaches, there were other issues. I'm reporting the deputies to Yoko. There were recordings of one of the female commissioners. What can someone did that bontema is no crana no all of a sudden was a sadia yepo yinedi. Now yepo yinedi no so it is the head of the judiciary and yinedi because obi say memako before the court. I'm a panel of 5 judges. court natch me contempt
o mat kwatie tie
enti no ye tie enti me the petition amba say yenyi ma me no kwatie court achi
it was a
panel of 5 and also court achi no contempt enti no ma me na preside enti ese yenyi ma
areho
enti asem no hu ase ye ka wada ye ka no samu ase nkrofo nche dante asem na se and maybe senti na obi nkofa impeachment proceedings against president say because first lady em to abama o
Bɛkyerɛ emu da ho
and I man to be bia na
Asare-Bediako
e dey attract kitamala na be who NDC small boys and girls nkwala ese ma mini twa business class mo nkwala nketenkete ye hu mu on first class mu di Dallas nkwala nketenkete toto fefe wa mo mo bra bia na in any case bra godon bra why na ye be appointed to the Supreme Court wa bra on meet the minimum threshold for appointment.
Oh, they say you can't cross it. So we need
one year lawyer. One practicing for 15 years.
Yes.
One proving integrity be appointed to the Supreme Court. Mpacho ebi ho. President Akufo-Addo bedi mampenyi 8 years. Da bena President Akufo-Addo saki Supreme Court a friend say
one saki will be ada
and there be na me be say
there be
that Bena President Akufo-Addo saki will be because he did not intend and never interfered with the judiciary. If it is the case say Musu obi aya appointing at the time of President Akufo-Addo be a NPP judge and na mo kire ye say 7 na President Mahamadu Omabano modu omo be reset omo ye NDC judges
with I mean this close to be
na some is unconstitutional
the removal of Mrs. Saloto saying, I was integral part of it because me publish a story no back to back is the front page of ABC. There's nothing about petition or more responsibility, and I can put it here. Say the president Nana Addo Akufo-Addo wasn't even in support of the petition. But there was nothing that he could do. In fact, he was at pains when the report came to him, say, Mamini should go home. He found it difficult to make it public, say, he didn't like it. But his hands were tied by the constitution. What dear was said about triple park and upon thing? Second, judiciary a good will be never to do the dean. Was it unanimous 7? A day, president.
And see, at the end of the day, no, near ahumete so ne say, Obian Bisa say, is it the case? Say previous justices of the previous chief justice almost survey. Now, money almost spouses aim to kwaya na Obian Bisa say, is this the first time my chief justice any nukunu to kwaya one? But you case no so yen cheche mu ye nya say bia omu to kwaya multiple times so. The petition is against one trip with the husband. And another one single trip with Neba. And she is entitled to 2 private trips. Vacation. And it is set out in the your friend is saying emoluments committee in the Jumo Professor Dubuando committee. And previous justices of the Superior Court, they were also entitled. Yeah. I'm told say even amendments no cry ama explicitly on the private vacation man for spouse and only was because that her predecessor did not have a spouse.
But you see, it goes without
by
you
convention.
Yes.
And by practice, that was the exception, not the norm. But anybody before her, no now were entitled to this same benefit.
There be 3 arms of government.
Aye.
President and then a year in the metu kwan.
Aye.
Speaker and a year in the metu kwan. Then the 3rd I was one they were called on one. Aye. Are we okay?
It's strange. It is strange. Enti Godon me to hono aya meka say also you have the Yama authority under article 146 10 and so you have the discretion to suspend her, but what they fail to do they say constitution no you should impart to you reading as a whole and a constitution na nkasa under its miscellaneous provisions no ama say why Yama your friend is saying discretionary authority no you need to exercise such an authority in accordance with article 296.
Okay.
And me person me read the article
you can't use it capriciously.
Thank you. I may person me read the article 296 in Intremo, which is on the exercise of discretionary powers.
Yes.
Or say where in this constitution or in any other law, discretionary power is vested in any person or authority. That discretionary power shall be deemed to imply a duty to be fair and candid.
Okay.
The exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious, or biased, either by resentment, prejudice, or personal dislike, and shall be in accordance with due process of law. And C, where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, there shall be published by constitutional instruments or statutory instruments regulations that are not inconsistent with the provisions of this constitution or other law to govern the exercise of the discretionary power. And to know who exercise discretionary power na inconsistent with Article 296 a buga number ponso. And it is my view, I say the discretionary power now President Mahama exercise, it is because Bayan Fiemi no Fiemi and Seni Wakano publicly on the NDC and Penyufo national chairman, any NDC communicators, or baby, oh yaba Chief Justice, President Akufo-Addo Apake Court, yaba resetting of the judiciary. Oh yaba easy resetting. And to ordinary resetting agenda ni the breach constitution and will be at home
Minister, what being to do? Honestly speaking, this part of the constitution mean kinda say or discretionary powers, say constitution requires the use of
how it should be used.
Now, and then me say the constitution the car say you can't use your discretionary power based on resentment, dislike, prejudices.
Bias. You have to use it fairly,
but the question
and candidly.
A prejudice.
Yes. Personal dislike.
Yeah, publicly displayed.
Until umpenasem. Yeah, some of their supporters how do them back. Or say you be na dia your president mama no munade or say pamuno.
And the other dangerous thing that they are doing, and I make us say, we are moye a president.
Yes.
We na also what to na. Ochina ni awode na eba no o kwa asesa ne niam di wachina mo
ecoterminus
because obi nso so the petition beba obi kra petition on the ba no say ho hia so the evidence ba se say
eso ya ji atum
ho enso mo some high establish prima facie case against the CJ on what basis
one evidence am
enti enne o kan say ebre bi atwamu woni man bi before do ya cha mo contempt Samuel Kube kan say ya no contempt
Ken Crunchy.
Ken Crunchy. Me can say actually no contempt. Nipa bebre dey bi kura kotutu afiase.
Hope na doye so ko bi.
Entinka president Akufo-Addo ba ye no. Yes o ya che me contempt nti hwehwe judge kro na o che me contempt. Na ko yi na din.
That is exactly what is happening. Some of them.
And with this precedent, it is a 296 no. Ubusu ba ko a ye nja nto ho se o che no obi susu busu.
Oh, na say do be kan yi de ko bi a che the contempt. Dr. Dominica Yine. Or kwa che the contempt.
I can't remember but
Supreme Court. Omo friend say say osi kasa na me boa.
I say your call presidential election petition.
Yes,
2020 petition.
Yes, all across bomo ye ni sa. All right, Jabusa for ye din komo asem ha ye want to be read 95.9. I was share movement television so program din di Bɛkyerɛ FM Gordon Asare-Bediako na ade a ya ne say wo ton bibi product o ton wana say service bia would render to people na obohu de wura wo bia entie. Ntipacho fa wa o nema wo tonton no ana adwadi na wudi no fabra na ye mohu deru ema fabra movement television so na ye mohu deru ma ne sa mohu deru ma wo wuntumi radio so na ekwa akiri papa pacho enti ana sa wuntumi ba na person friend ya o friend na marketing for be ba holmo 0509 301 401 0509 301 401 0534 382448 0534382448 and 0246 375134 0246 pacho bra in your business and you can see be in the man board you better so amount according to see the one who the city no ni se best payment go pona kama no ubia ati entisa na me kono audu mahama na me charge whatever babedu no war is that when you dey buso panyi alaji aba na wo ne be bia neso abusuansem bi
ne tactics bi oye
tactics
so oye ade no num so ayo boni oba no
no muna se mufro oba no muna
nti oba no muna se be ya ho
timinka wona kwa kwaka all right Peter eri yankwa but chief justice asem no but don't let's forget to say MPP the statement ba bonting
yes
say campaign ni sa meeting people say me kwa contest presidency me kwa MP ni adade no so adubere obi antwibere it would
there is not sustainable
the matter later I can't say for chief justice for chief me say me remfi
okay o dey Rebecca but na me
yanko chief justice
me ko share minister na me na
contempt to home yo
elo so obi e no be ju
hwe minister Kasanonim
yeah
or can be say about the prima facie case no and indeed and truly senka NDC and President Mahama if they were sincere about this process na enye say omabo mutimpo bi ne ade a nkan senka case ni kwanke du bi adu hwe petitioner Daniel Ofori yes the number of habibia fine indeed oboso say na me quote from ne paragraph 5 it is before the committee appointed by the president that the allegations of misbehavior and incompetence that we state and outline in this petition against the Chief Justice must be proved by evidence. No other contest for proof of the allegations other than the committee. This petition is therefore not the place to try to offer evidence of the misbehavior and incompetence that we put forward against the Chief Justice.
Was it this petition is not
this petition is therefore not the place to try and offer evidence of the misbehavior and incompetence that we put forward against the Chief Justice.
Me at this one I will say it without any apology.
Enti
say
enyina so be
yeah cast ma to Chief Justice ho
yes
but men can't just me for evidence
Dabi
the makan pure rubbish
me Bɛkyerɛ fa me provide bibia
pure rubbish and John Mahama the president
yes
is
agreed
and you know
agreed enti minister one lawyer prima facie case no or say bibi something must prove bibi nyina so be woman say na what me decide we dey yen konko hwehwe mana
yes in the case of Charlotte was say Mrs. Charlotte was say no na cases an allegation against any Dawson
yes
but Chief Justice Transi
ehwehwe
mu aka say bebredi
6
na be 20 as say
plenty bebre
to mu ka say be 6
year
I was with the
in fact it was indeed actually for the 6 allegations no normally come a committee no
yes.
to go into it so na obi de asemaba wan provide hwe na waba say sa nipa no ono lawyer ne wadamfo Oliver
there was more evidence I did no say mo money kwa yi a enye ayi dem no da ko bi dem
hwe asam na ye kan sa no nim me feel say ebe kwa ma asako pie Supreme Court panel so sa na me hu no
ama just bafo money aye
on na betena so hwe dey make us an say so hwe committee no so far information ya tete ne omo ne ya ni numa bi ekona o de yem fa ne say asam kan in the end no omo bua ne fom pa per article 23 the Chief Justice can appeal the judgment and for me ebe kwa to the Supreme Court a bill for a hearing yes so because so kind article 23 or say the administrative body bia committee bia commission bia whatever no their findings can be challenged in court and no pet na me a man manager say whatever will be the outcome no the Chief Justice will still have opportunity to challenge the findings so internet be more have raised issues say Madam Charlotte say Yamanu post be
a board member
yes
board member
yes
is a NP and as a boss one of these
Ghana Gas but you see but there is a committee of findings bia I indict no I nam soon to a man ye ni free the electoral commission but on challenging findings in court so if indeed say officer she's hurt and I say yenina ndini here or avenue to challenge the findings in court. But on what you say? There have been several commissions and committees report indicted a man for challenging findings now court.
Yeah.
Even the Waku Commission. Because it was that same Waku Commission findings now ended for in 2008. Omo promise 2008 manifesto mo say omo ba omo set a committee to investigate the unfortunate death of Yana.
Yes.
Omo ba no omo anye o no mkofa committee in the findings they call courts. And anko ye what you say. And of course per the Ghana 50 committee report no say once there's a committee of findings be 80 hour no indicting enough. In fact, constitutional graduates, you cannot even hold some public offices being put. So yes, until a rational so fee say new be akoso na anya ne de and I say new why send the lawyers and challenge. In fact, I'm even told say even announce the case in court. So the case in the court is even still in court. Even though there was a committee and that is some of the judges. But on why? And what's our post? But I don't know.
But send I think somebody can send her to court.
Yes.
Appoint an court. Say maybe a pay committee report. No.
Yes.
She's banned from holding public office for the next 10 years or 5 years. Now on several side in media. I think a constitutional interpretation with me.
Yes. Oh yeah, we with matter. Maybe
the post kitchen Munyano no Ghana gas Munyano allow her one break. On that's young.
Ebio. Some of the lawyers, no. In fact, lawyers are boom with the Nipa and the Yapa Mama Pie, Ura Thaddeus, sorry.
Thaddeus. Or the name said Timo.
Chese.
Or
no case now.
Resentment, no. Resentment, no, only dear, no. On the what they say, resentment personified.
Oh, no, Nipa na audio manim to argue their case, no. The Shining Star.
Shining Star. You be go for of we can say. And that it also sign the camera.
Now, Shining Star for one petition. One of the main said CJ make a request to
the president,
an appointing authority say, oh, on Shena, on more judges or Supreme Court because you man does. It's shocking. In any case, that action in Guanumbono, that request, no, Amaso. And if even some trouble. I am for it me make you request to say as soon as you born home modern until you and go through the process na ya mbona baso and I am an appointment na nipa na ono the head of the institution na yes or yeah na or announce say we appoint you.
Yeah,
that's where the breach would have happened. But or suggest it to the appointing authority, the president say hwe na hwe we mu na boa na fa mo bra na mo meboa adwuma no. An action that was supported by Ghana Bar Association. In principle, they support the CJ.
Yeah.
That action, it didn't even materialize.
Yeah.
How then do you sanction the Chief Justice? Say, we're British Constitution. An action, abra NC, yeah. The second point, and they say, Adena Chief Justice. A court na a phenomenon in case in the so. Now,
only speaker there.
Only speaker there no.
Naka hwana ngota.
But no near when he say yes. And to obi if he say no me be akoso etia Ghana mra. The only Nigeria constitution no. The only body Ghana ha e what mra say also mo interpret the constitution near the Supreme Court. Na fenyo mark in the case na Supreme Court. So mo interpret an aspect of the constitution. Almost adentina or tina sa case in so. Now one Fred the other side no breachy natural justice rule.
Now the man was he party to the case?
Now even natural justice rule no. S party lawyer S party pacho unique and as a be is it not part of our judicial system?
Your two legs of the natural justice rule.
Okay.
One is of the fact that you cannot be a judge in your own case.
Yes.
So one. If you want kasa ono obi wasema wontimindi.
Yes.
If ono obi wasema you have an interest wasem no nso so you would have to recuse yourself. The other leg of the natural justice rule is fair hearing.
Yes.
So you must hear the other side. Say be oche from fokra oche odini watch obi no obutu obi so to mona watch obi krampo na okita nkante no twetwa obi a the person so deserves to be heard.
Yes.
Maybe it's a hearing no na abema wo hu say there were some extenuating factors. It was self-defense and you know I don't know where they came up with this breach of
omo dey near the second leg now can say sa case there was not fair hearing because a court now notify the speaker at the time, but in the end the speaker had the day and I'm na ora tell your story or not the speaker lawyer, but you see another point, the same natural justice you are now, okay, you cannot be a so why we now a lawyer in the case. Why so to me echo dear him say you be because when you are some year mawana and meaning what you say I'm sorry on the a speaker the lawyer.
Yes. And he appeared before the Supreme Court, which was chaired by the Chief Justice.
What you say? You can file even more charges, any suit, was Supreme Court.
And a few months later, petition Abasi and I'm saying resentment.
You see also an actor in perpetuating that illegality.
Yes,
because he appeared.
Yes,
and you know the funny part. Say, Ghana, your court system no,
yes,
and your inquisitorial, and yet a civil law countries. Your court system near adversarial system.
Yes,
adversarial system we say, and your judge and I said the so on investigation, no mebua. A parties to the case.
Yes,
and on Bebabo Moon Crody or Madame Senon Bibia Kahuaba. Say, Ebia case be koso, yam fro, but wouldn't you say case and outcome no a bit me ama. Who interest be a asaya, you can go and join. Obeti me the application akwa command court no see and found kahu. You cannot presume say court na exclude you because na adwene pobita nipa na chi pese odi unya. There be. Who say case here koso e bi ahunsun so be fam na no. Obeti me the application aide akwa court no. And how that has become a basis for you to which you did.
Yes.
Which the speaker had the opportunity. To be heard.
Yes.
So
I'll buy.
Now me go case biya e be ko Supreme Court.
Yes.
Yeah, a more she a one national appeal no.
Yes.
I expect the Chief Justice
to sit. Yes.
And when me say me pe one day I make share former Chief Justice friend say Madam Georgina Wood bebu sane said na e den na 2012 Supreme Court presidential petition no.
Yes.
One tenas me say one of the lowest moments me what the Juma would do no. For me it was a dereliction of duty. Maybe that's my opinion about it. Yanko.
Oh there no topic.
But I can't.
There be oh there. Some your class prefect inti.
Class prefect partner what I feel that our best director principal. Yo Yanko. A minute. What we?
Oh there small point.
Okay.
If okay. If it is based on say constitutional breaches inti because we had the fourth petition be acquire and there say Minyante say Oma forward there, but Matisse a cahu. I be who was a member. I say the CJ and set up tribunal system. We are tribunal system no is part of a judicial arrangement no. Into my defects about a judicial system into any no. And no who a year. President Mahama in appointing the 7 justices no. Last me rezi kakra.
Oh, there be said the encahu.
No,
petition.
No, but no. A breach of the constitution.
By petition.
But the CJ same pamono because we breach constitution. So okotena case one notify the third accused. Okotena case yes so on setting up tribunal system to breach constitution.
What they can keep to be. Ebi hono man assembly hono man I pass President Mahama to me to say.
Now ono President Mahama no otu kwan one notify parliament ne ade no. Wasn't it a breach?
One say
so
yeah, I say can ho asem.
Oh, I'm saying say that 7 members now were pound were announced no. The procedure now were follow no. Me per lawyer be me call Supreme Court on that. It is unconstitutional.
Okay, you know a different matter altogether. Where your petition was in there. But we for me that Peter Nkuma deputy editor Emma Daily Dispatch newspaper na mote se won so kana seb no alaji aba alaji shirt na fine ba to uti skaba to say any need that fine koka ya ko chief justice na this for so mutu ni
that's mutu obi adia e kan manifesto e kan the growth of the nation
manifesto the end enka manifesto the nim
tama no ko apro na o kan nsem na de na o kan
but manifesto ndi ya choro we no mo nchoro I think said the obe can say na e can campaign promises
a can vision any mission any execution plan written constitution or by and time do was send 120 days do was send who's all it is the unwritten one or and and impeachment process now starting the secretariat manager your friends of Fusukwachi on a mad date extra time be now we come by independent obia otumitina ho ehwe ayehwe ha e kan sem boko ko so aka bibi make papa na sama sa papa no or a different breed mama kan say the president he's a different breed onu de oya ade na e papa no so bo si anu akasa ade we me ba me se no enu no oye inkrofo na eye your friend is saying lawyers emma petitioners no omusu ni omobai. These are people who have interest with the person. Eye self. For case imami, the name I mean issue make up with yam. That is what is happening. That is what is happening. Na so we shall go for na omusi omuye lawyers. Omujina bia wo society. Any brofo na ya tro na. Say your time any your say ya. Ka brofo bi ti say shining star brofo we. Kashe lawyer no gina ho no wa call law school enye ndie se na nguase path we na abepa yenyi bibi enfinchem I say who can support them voluntarily, who can support them, we need to get them out. That is what is happening. And now share kakra videos no kakra any nkomo kakra kan commentary omo amonko of work I say at the end of the they went to make a statement. Kese komu ko na ke no first in the grand kese komu pamo ma many people.
Hey sir,
go and read the commentaries they are writing and everything. Sir them can the man a chance to nya asema.
Wow.
Yes.
Chief Justice.
Yes.
You can me a man opportunity.
No.
Like no man can actual justice once a week.
Omo no e ka omo a e na wo mbere mu. What you say? Na ya ka wo a wudi asem ye ni wo a wudi akire wo a ya nominate wo 2028 o te say ye declare results ne pe no one start ya park ubi bia
away bus
ubi bia
coterminous
baby a wote na make sure say sika e de ma wo ni nyina because a party and e do call no the states will come for their money say say no say ye no
all right, me da se busa fo dikoka e na matini nka no mamenko alaji holo man na yen kohwe de alaji so e de bai na alaji e na se wo ye yi kakra
say mo ma betina ha mamenchi of for me good sister me no wa san e beka wa bonten
alaji do bia
se wo de nkofo e wo ntokwa we do wo ye friend say
na ntokwa ya now so
be ambush we ambush assault
yeah oh no
sa na last 2 weeks we kodo ponkroma ye ne ka say we tafo se me ne no ntokwa we ya me no ntokwa adai
me ne no kwashia wo
wutimi bo no
akoko aso
me share fa onu ni na stress
oh na me say ye ntokwa no you don't understand
minister what time ye fro
me say mo ntokwa ye ntokwa no
aha eti ye
ente mamo ha mo ho enye ntokwa bia ye hu
mati that eti see
na me say mo ma betina ha Makoti a laws any baby. Yes, and this for motion laws. Don't confuse me with facts. And no, end this for the more confuse more with facts. Said yeah, penny, yeah, papa can be there, veteran sports journalist. Yeah, what I can. Is there never confuse a year or be confuse more facts? Can't say my facts and quotations are we in our constitutional provisions are we in our and this for yes, oh, Muti, any president, mama. Oh, dear, can say committee na better national. Nipa no issue statements or better national. Means the position okay and confusing me.
Phyllis
government spokesperson.
No. Minister in charge of government communication and presidential spokesperson. Now, one will say committee banner ya set here. Communication, they setting everything about committee coming from Jubilee House. Look, me say President Kufuor set up National Reconciliation Commission 1992.
There was
a reporter.
1992.
Yes.
President Kufuor.
2002. Oh, sorry. 2002. Now me a reporter.
Okay.
No more communications outfit. PR outfit.
Yes. And there was executive secretary.
Executive secretary.
Kenatefa. Yes.
They were issue statement, the settings and everything.
Yes.
One President Mahama setting of Ghana at 50 President Mills. And Vice President Mahama almost setting Ghana at 50 Commission. Justice Apple chairman. They had somebody. Mohamed Afum. Sorry. Was it Dove? They were the PR people. Issue statements on setting.
Ayawasu West Wogon Commission.
Ayawasu West Wogon. One who said Jamefe Committee. Omo issue statement. I didn't know when the Omo issue statement.
Resentment, dislike.
It's almost interest. Intina Miss Wama be reading provisions in our court to law. Missy way no more any law no more show. If it is about law, Aden. Prima facie any omonkwana. Missy Rollins. May I they will make anytime I have the opportunity, I'll repeat it. Rollins or military ruler or obey a constitutionally elected president. One 1995 Bar Association Oman Cho petition against Justice Aban, appointment Justice Aban.
Yeah.
That he lacked moral integrity.
Yes.
Now President Rollins are military ruler or be transit here or no crano, he didn't find prima facie against Justice Aban. Or no kwa when Ghana Bar Association lawyers who na constitution we any ho. And yet President Rollins time na constitution we by. One no dear na he did not follow due process. Na any ho. Eba President Kufuor. Commission sending petitions against Justice Akwa. So they went through the process. And I know clerk of the Supreme Court. And on a papa we are in the case here court a Frank Ejechum. Ekosi saying Justice Akwa wanya nejuma.
Oyelejuma.
Ya President Mills. The petition call against Georgina Wood. Now President law professor in law. One no constitution or nemo. Now no near on by and he could not have found prima facie case.
He could.
And now he didn't follow procedure. Did he okay say and no crowd by say or say on your cat hunter? Or national chairman then because they wanted like they want today. Say a baby Georgina Wood film because it was their political campaign. One may say Georgina Justice Wood back up.
Yeah.
They did a similar thing. But when they came, President not only said, this is the third arm of government. You are dealing with
the level-headed.
Head of the third arm of government say, independence of judiciary must be protected. Oh no, sure, no, oboguye. Because on say those were trivialities. Eba President Akufo-Addo. The same Chief Justice way, throw petition at Etiano, Justice Professor Asare. One throw petition against the same Now Nana Akufo-Addo on your lawyer. Also, the same issues. Would look at the Peter, you were reading the petitions, no? Some of the petitions were repetition of what Justice presented.
The
petition of what Justice but the Council of State then looked at all the issues and said, prima facie case be any ho. Yes. President Mahama Nkwa Baya was setting up committee chaired by a former speaker of parliament. Or no, yes, second arm of government chaired by him. Or mon kwa di omafasi. These frivolous anopo me pese make up
medasi.
Mo ye ya said le so John Kaya no mo tempti make up kwasi asem.
Dabi. Ye ne sa.
Now ono president mama kwa say okaka not lawyers ni NDC party so mo ye so called neutrals is following due process. Now due process are two petition call for the removal of the electoral commission. Why not follow due process? Article 146 now all follow. He has not done anything wrong. Well, now what you are saying, he has not done anything wrong. And now way cases where petition near my woman or consider ye on the Council of State 31 members na mate say ba ko pena etuti aye
120 wa abstaining yan yes of akufu yes
yes
but
former Supreme Court judge no ni na omo nyina to say yan primas
so fa akufu na abstaining
no sa asem na omo kan no in fact on joy krom bisa sami demfi mo kan say ba ko abstaining but I didn't want to believe it because I don't want to believe say members of the Council of State, former judges,
yes,
and him for yes, but the
Nana Ajiaho, and so hobby, no munina can we mu peneso say, I just mentioned a former Speaker of Parliament who was the second leader of the second arm of government, or on the chairman. Who mentioned? What are you mentioning? Now, no, Justice Chief, no, was he head of any arm of government? And away, they sat there and found say prima facie case had been say, and now almost recommended say, yes, suspended. And now you said the constitution, no, but no minister already provisions, no, advice of Council of State, no, it's not binding on Supreme Court. It's not binding on President too, because if they had even advised presidents or suspending, on the own advice, Obeka say menfa, and nothing would have been. Obeka say, oh, more even though say suspension, they may or one epe say or suspended, no, yeah, it's not because Council of State be advised, because that advice is not binding on him. Nudging or the year said the Oma plan say mammy we chicken he may in a floor. That is the process they are taking. But you see, say almost so move follow due process. And yes, sir. And now the Etienne say even the said the any colleague be kind, even the venue for almost short letter number CJ where they were going to say to crown no man fanka letter no more. She has to write to them after reading the letter invitation. No? Say, most member he. Why are you holding the meeting?
Hey, Omanga.
Oh, it's a colleague no boy and me so me boy. Oh, Oman chair no baby on me and after a year you know almost called a castle ho baby. With all these buildings, it's old buildings. Coming man who say danger. A honor. Yes, see a holy, meetings. But you see, say, Marty says, CJ say anka. Even though Constitution say I am holding camera. Or say name my peer. There's nothing in camera about the process so far.
It was one thing.
There's nothing.
No, but I don't know.
Oh,
the Constitution. Constitution say, I was say in camera. But the point is that if someone allow, not just say. They are giving credence because when you are a leakage, near people in your official. I am man for now. I got to train in the opinion. No man so eka or more. If
you have government officials, Bɛkyerɛ, even the number of people who voted. If you have a government official who knew number of people who voted as Council of State.
But will it be legal? Constitution betima punitive we become one and say you can see the ade no ye live wa punitive we be one because say embrade say ade
well because the use of shall no and
so somebody can go to Supreme Court say I don't know they find it in Bible so wa ko boni nyina egu
say
because
they have
they
have breached constitutional provisions.
The whole process is null and void.
Anyway, and it can be done. But
it can be done. Somebody can go to court and say the whole process is null and void.
Anka this constitutional breach, the Anka ya breach.
In a way, they say I don't know whether
because Mahama President Mahama only say what breach constitution.
Yes, what breach constitution? It's as a business. Because when that constitution we breach here, will it be injurious? I'm not sure.
But just for the respect of the provisions.
One year careful. Obi will be court. I could challenge the findings. Maybe if the findings no, I be clear the CJ. So massa so.
Findings in the bed.
Oh, no, some way and someone was saying.
Now, yes, findings in the bed.
I'm findings in you. Peter, report from much review. Anyway, I was I would to be radio 95.9. Now, you patch I'll be
pleasantly surprised if I deal with by Parliament committee.
I used to watch Jennifer Quinn say what she now what she minister was what shower how do Jennifer Quinn so wasem pa
what would it stadium no
I was next week I say o man thank you to all us
girls caucus. Now you're mobilizing all your
yes, it's true.
I think so. Okay, you better next week.
Even weekday, crowd.
In fact, election. Yeah, national elections was stadium. Now me no know one side.
Don't worry.
Now me no know one side. Now Charlie, now they will Papa Yen so you share or
by see yellow kind now at the quarter of the boy Jennifer Quinn so we a very loyal person.
Yes,
she is.
That day stadium hall was share atmosphere and the way people were deserting John Buadu. Jennifer Quinn stood by him. Me share and you know they give it to
I also give this
but also
I also give a to even though she stood and supported John Buadu. We buy GFK buy GF the new Juma come.
Of course,
yes. And for the party that is why when Minister was talking about unity of this party.
You don't need leadership.
Unity of this party.
What you say?
That's all.
And you know say and just so you are down for. No. So would you say me no answer anya madam for sir.
So me no all right, Musa for you would to 5.9 pacho Mr. Makacho say what ton wade obetimi do ne man abasem ya bohu daru ama obeta free 0509 301 401 and 0534 38 2448 0246 37 5134 program reading the Bɛkyerɛ mu Saturday morning bia no na yesi ya bo adem it ya start 8 but still na you ne ba say yes afa ko 7 mo da de fina mo hwe na 7 mo nta kwa meso asa me da ba be dress it bo and me so intem pa so me nkran ma na mama ama me kwan ozei
former president Edi na me meti ni din na goose pimples be
yeah the very goosebumps
okay yo say yeah what me call LA primary.
All right, Minister. Issues
30 seconds.
So okay, I will indulge.
On say member na minister ka unity asem party there party lusu a obia per reasons why I lusu ebinumu attack ebinumu yesi attacks ni enjoy. Now me I've always said I'm not hidden Peter name. Me I became a member of MPP as far back as 1994 because of President Akufo-Addo. Then the activism, the political activism ne bibia na emefe. And I mean no bro for no. Na e was this from the activist shower couple for e be o has sometimes won't see their kind because President Akufo-Addo now a British accent pa. Na say na o ka Ghanaian bro for kakra. But oka brofo na ye intendant dia say na ya shato brofo na eno no those days nte man the activism na me we are saying na me pretensions me obi o pretend we are saying na me person pa no I've seen Akufo-Addo somebody who doesn't pretend ono idea on pen or beka play whether you like it or not beka. That's why I've come to love me. He has done so much for MPP over the years, even opposition and government. Look, election if you apportion blames, Obia Benyabi, including probably those of us sitting here. So if we are, let's be careful what we do. I've always said, a binomo say, ne former ne vice, disassociate himself from a. I have not seen that in this throughout. I have not seen that. But he cannot. Now I don't know why even if he wins as flag bearer, why now said the okay no. Yes, why legacy. So let's be careful. No, look, who can shake a Kabibi? Dr. Hamid Mobonidi said the okay. Or say why? NDC for it's painful said defeat to near massive. But have you found out? Have you actually looked at the results very well? Have you analyzed the issues very well? Look, NDC in 2020, Omonia 6.2. 2024, Omonia 6.3. MPP nya 6.7. 2024, they went down. MPP went down to 4 point something. 2.1 million Oman to Ama Jomama. They didn't just vote. We should be finding out as a political party why the 2 million people did not vote. If all of them had voted for NDC and no Nanka, MPP people should be worried. But they abstained. Even the results, Mama Nya, only 100,000 and a count. After voter population increased by 1.7 million. So there should be something that MPP as a political party should be looking at. Let's don't blame ourselves too much.
That's it.
And when also we break it the 8, this is something, as Mustafa Hamid said, that has not been done before. So if you fought and you do not achieve what has not been done before, why are you hard on yourselves? In 1996, MPP, Great Alliance, Omone Aka was a vice president, it was a running mate to Kufuor.
Yeah.
At the same time, vice president, and so now Oji blows, you know. Pastor. Yes. And no, President Kufuor 39%.
Asare-Bediako.
4 years later, when President Kufuor came, MPP are winning power. This election will be 2024, even though defeat is massive. DMB on your 41%. 31%, 41%, 39%, the NSO.
41.
So why are you not coming together to work hard to recapture power? All
right, I was for 80. I would Mahaman. Mr. Salvat, the picture be about the Fato Salamanca, and keep to be 1 minute. Here we are, Mr. Rame Baholomo, Energy Minister. He says what they show the Book of Lamentations. Wakasa, kasa, na dumso ba, and I told me, saying, but the meeting me, I can't want them. She picture me. And I don't need him. Many the Runia Colaboni. And now, yes, Ulma wo de ya, my friend was Ulma wo. I'm said, young Quachian. It's a picture of me, Kwakuderu, and that's mean the saying, and yes, jacket, you say. Made that Kwakuderu, that's a bread, and then for my president. Mamma massive. And now, President, the patch, more microphones in your off. And now, President, and not Lakufuado. Yakoye no, what ye fell so. In fact, more men make a sign. Now, make a say, that's what can make of our band. Make a say, Mimi Swa, Nam read the papers with Massey, pioneer and free press in his animal. I can say to no authority say, Nanakufuad especially. In terms of managing politics, one about me join the MPP. Me, I told him there. Me can't no. Me catching the niaji. Na me catching say, the legacy for me nim President Wabagana. The legacy no be bit me beating no. It is rather unfortunate to say defeat in the by. It we say we are pledging allegiance to him. Say we are prepared to protect his legacy. We want to tell him. I'm walking here say. The office or more year no, be ready after Easter ho baby. Yeah, that's what he told me. Anthony, ready ya. Obamia catch and yaba ho nya betase never be dinkobo. If you can't pledge your allegiance to the Nekufuado or you are unwilling to protect the legacy, opa that's no problem. But the legacy there, it's all pep legacy nasem. We have people their legacy in there. You must be prepared to protect and publicize his legacy and protect it anytime. won't me dear and get out of the party. But you bet me if you me that's it. Minister, young the issues no. A dollar man as no, I don't know, so make a bit yeah, and you know, Galamse so Honomo, and that minister, lamentation minister, also Honum, the Mindo Becca.
Okay, I think say in the I think say in the public interest on the main submission will be on the energy sector crisis.
Okay.
Ye komu. But answer na meka no me pese me te $73. And it's an admonition to all young politicians. You cannot have monopoly over insults and also have monopoly over opulence.
Yes.
Obey populist are delaying. Yeah, why do you say me for me home call public service? Because at the end of the day, especially in the era way, and I'm referring to both sides of the divide. Yeah, way. Bibi obe can be a wabe fontaine time so. Adechi ayeye na me dollar say what is makabi because men can be even then this before they've done justice to the issue. The internet has done justice to the issue. Into one can be crying for hwenye den e ka ho. Into uye young politician now say wo ba make sure say wo kan ye wunim. Enya wa adwene say your rise to fame should be about attacking people, insulting people, lying on people. Eda nyame be hira wo a won susu be duru ho no. Ada nyame be hira wo because enya wo kwa na nyame hira wo. Ansa na wunya $10 no be $1 million dada.
Of course.
Enti no eda nyame be hira wo. Saa da no e na won susu. Enkrofo be yusu wa no asem ne yi atia. Because you also don't have monopoly over indiscretion. Ultimate cause indiscretion obi so to me enya indiscretion because he nipa and a nipa na efo enti say we are kind we are measured we are discerning towards other people's shortcomings and their shortfalls and give them grace and the benefit of the doubt edru so ayebema obi basa we ya wa adwene say unko na nyame ehira obi de nyame ehira. Now we should throw Baumia to the dogs, Akufo-Addo to the dogs. Cecilia Adapade,
under the drain.
Yes.
Under the drain. Enyamono.
Edru hwa me say me kodakra nkrofo no bedi.
Yes.
You know, that's all I have to say on that.
All right, Minister.
But now let's come to the issue of the energy sector. Me started discussing doom so it was in 2011. And yes, started discussing I think said the first conversation about me to the best of my memory and me make kind about the initial doom so conversation around the time I in this for Tom Merchant Bank some kind
I'm a 40s
because me very first that was one of the that me started comes na di be 1 year ne kakra and a chairman Fred Owari no a vice chair and omo frɛ ye dey call party headquarters to bring some experts to give us insight. What I have observed is that in the past 14 years, the NPP, party, New Patriotic Party, has been spot on when it comes to the diagnosis of problems and yarea at the Ghana energy sector. You can say it's a funding problem in 2011. Yeba power in 2017, it did not change. I was a deputy communications director to deputy minister to minister. And consistently, ubebo mi video bia, if there was a conversation about energy sector crisis, your number 1 point was the fact that funding is a challenge. Because if you produce and then you transmit and ECG distributes, we should be able to recover all the revenue back to service the IPPs, the VRA, service Gridco, for all of them to perform their duties and to buy fuel. Then so no, who said due to transmission losses and recovery losses from distributor no, ama every year and every man deficit to man as I say government ne finance ministry ekopesika and I the ababa betuan kaneaka enti mostly kanea na we use na wunya no for no kra na because President Akufo-Addo a kwanya obefa so bia including what tete akatua so say be ya kanea ne besi so that was what he was doing. Now this is the situation. The current energy minister, Honorable George Dapo, unim say no a deputy power minister,
Yes.
Honorable Kwabena Donko.
Yes.
And I brought no come now don't call me and solve doom so no
or resigning.
Or resigning, you know. Now he was the deputy, but also like the de facto minister.
Because for about 8 months.
He did not solve doom so.
Dabi.
Ye best solve doom so na no more mudimrika. As a ranking member, he was the most vocal about the energy sector. And I me of John so there na no ate brofuni twi na wonim kasa. Me say who share no studio na so ka energy sector.
What be pie.
Me say obekasa or ye professor emeritus in the sector. Passionate, intimidating, confident speaker. See, of a way there, and can you adabraka. So, and you know, at the end of the day, no, Kasano ye de, Esene, a Jumano, and we knew because the track record showed that on to me and Madum Song Kobebia. And as I say, ya Casadenti, aside to me, a man. Now, the truth is that NDC lied their way to power.
Yeah.
And they will struggle. 4 out of the 48 months, they are struggling. And I wake up hitting level 1, try and do level 10, and 100 degrees. Because they lied their way to power, and you have to lie your way to stay in power. But the doom song will expose you. Because, bruh, in what world? And I also even the public sector, 24-hour economy. No information 133. Adwuma ne ye bechemu miensa na we mu ba na pa na mu kwa na awiafo aba na anadwofo aba
sa formation ese man you yeah adopting
miensa every sa say you
exactly
Wednesday dey be Wednesday
ye ni Tottenham
finals no
Europa
Wednesday
say eno ya share nyina Tottenham so ye share omo so
asemuni
minister
the point I am making is that who wouldn't need to even ana one formation yeah ejuma omo even 9 to 5 you don't have the light also so abesha boss say ejuma ne ye be ye bia ye be shifter ye bia na pa wi anajo me pa cho ye ejuma office odum so
dabi
the Ghanaian economy developing wa brand kan ni ho because the foundation of every economy is electricity. You need electricity for even technology to thrive. But you tell me, yeah, online, yeah, you know, phone a duma BBR shit, the entire value chain will crash. Can I say Portugal, France, and some other European countries, or more experiences some great EB, even their train system. And it's a Obisha Obose. Obama economic success name want me some kania catch the same meme fatise or your trophy because there is no progress where there is no light and President Akufo-Addo paid for us to have the lights on and omo chan tron o maba no mudumu kania no. And let me tell you the sad part. NDC4, look at the value chain. Yeah say a fuel asel me kan so no bo amin anta Asia the IPPs yes some agreement with 5 out of 7 of them. Na ye tua omo kasa nyina na ye tua wapo ne de omo ka 19 million samo kan a ye tua mo 3 million omo say omo nso e na omo dum be say 1 week 2 weeks be in last year January e na gidi yesa ko tua 10 million bi etete kan
yeah
and in Canada na yes it was because government was financing the deficits in the energy sector and na wo wato nyom na waba na no me call saloon because the whole day me natural hair na me nti me corner light ni ho kro mo wo shema me na the towel afofom na na o de papa na bebubo mo na me tena ho a wo anu abo ebi wo kra wo ne abo but the whole day oba tan ya na ma for ye salon na wonye adwuma bia because kanea ni ho yadum kanea me se areho awia wonye adwuma na jo onye me se areho ankrofo koma enam say omakoto omaba ma NDC ntie nema no hyehyɛ omofi omuntimi kanya well that's nya adwuma baba se nya adwuma salon fo nya adwuma ena uko ba bia yadum o
daru ba bia daru te no mama bi NDC ni no pretty ayi cold stock itu abi e dey say da mukukum enwan ni emponchi be share fridge no mudum light na mami kompa ha no opeso kasa so ntimi nkasa na era ho nyina so mu se maame no so ade na ha no eno mo sere no ye say do more than bear 10 hours esa fidi mu se na emuja astati so ni fifiji afele maame abetin se Umbuza mama na light in ema. So Omara.
Yes,
I said no.
Yes, you know, mommy impression is say. And this woman was some baby be a maga.
Oh no.
Any brand say, near na cost be a nyomona no more. Not because they were coming to do something better. If they had to even reduce the economic projections for the year 2025,
they would.
The echo drew average of 5.7. Our more projections, me ambro 4%, and mama who say, Doom song kuma better take half of that projection away.
Yeah.
Because and can you any one more productivity back form? Economy need to be seen in also. Can you any ho? And to all the populist conversations, new arguments, no more, won't mean so can ya. Even how many ministries and agencies no more generator? Our mother even one shift now the 3 become.
Ain't possible.
In what world would a 24-hour economy succeed in darkness?
Enra Honorable Kwesi Akwabaha was say, but you be before say economy also be 24 hours. At then Central Business District Accra was say a white to Pamumbu Yanko Tenefi. Was it yet no idea they are already in business, but what's the whole more are you choked? It's no awkward Pamamu Yanko Tenefi. Na anadwe suppose be 24 hours eti in the situation say anadwo ko betwa ya adwuma
24-hour police surveillance system
e wo hoda da enya ndokre e wo hoda da me wo
120 achievement one
oboya ndokre me wo cars me wo pictures of 24-hour surveillance monitoring the debe police forecast
and the police be adwuma anadwo e say there
police station be do omotuma anadwo
e wo ni 120
oboya enya ndokre.
Even police post I about 10 now or Taifa no way and I dream na
I want 120
and you know and I'm say omo diagnosis near wrong no one can occur so intino doom so na widespread though it's no longer an Accra Kumasi issue
voter region
rural Ghana no mun dundum light so must do obi ka cham say under Kufuado on kind die doom light or burger and so doom so e bi aduru ho so nyane for say be aduru ho no o comment baby o musi dum so even omo demands even peak demands are very low even those within the netco area see dum so the truth is that they know say omo be solve the problem where say akwa president Akufo-Addo and in the energy ministers bisa say na mo ye ne sen e bia na arrogance na mo kwan and it is also because omo win election na omo ball and tro kehye kese and almost shake my best Ghana for say, I'm too full and so on. I 5 hours not in there.
Oh, Fakruya.
And I'm once a press conference.
No, 5 hours.
And also a press conference say, Nanka Doom so beba. Now so they've been able to avert the situation. Monkai. And I'm a patrol way. You have off the lights more in 4 months more than President Akufo-Addo did in 4 years from 2020 to 2024.
Maybe a minister 5 hours.
And at the end of the day, no, say na yeah, castle the part now international media cross the power cut president is gone. No, power cut president So we were not expecting anything different. But Omoa, I said the lies, the sweet talk, all the skills kasa deni bibiana ediom edwuma ediom because say sumne the one who just say manager for 4 years when him say dey me to be talk a friend saying diesel bear say 400 cedi 500 cedi edible generator because mesua there I need the light and it's a sad situation because how many people na betimi are for this and I say so since 2016 Ghana your temperatures are very high even Accra hwehwe na kane ni ho na nipa na bridge na wia so anajo no wasa kwakoda sum.
All right. Former Minister of Information.
And in the face of that, near South to Nkania boom over 14%.
A broke radney.
Now, what trust I and about me and a ECG Fosika and about me and Aqua Mitaba. Na so we opposition.
Ba me and
Mitaba no near this Kabe Bregusa.
Ba me and Akufo-Addo kofa habtelaba.
I'm trying to say.
Anyway, I would do. Almost an idea. Okay. And I would my bow back.
So, on mobile, no, there's a year of the Casa, I say, I can't 5 hours. na be
yeah
gidi no later almost o ma procure biaba
yeah
onim say before we a few days ago or share parliamentary committee the committee on energy on say aka 2.6 days liquid fuel na e wo ho no say anya bia ye be call a power crisis within hours now no shall issue statement say oh Minister of Finance issues ska na omanya 450 but hey mama share actual figure 50,000 man share barrels of
obi asend me UCC I say India ni bi where the company go put the omo the plastic bag factory
yeah omo na omo North Industry
was send the abemi say wo ton dum so that man was say we lose a lot
omo North Industry
pictures any pictures ni videos was say omo ton any
omo North Industry
any CCA we reduce no from $250,000 from $350 to $250,000 also what ton akwa baby India ni
you see Ghana for ho enche omo say minister can say omo a wo kra okoti NDC ni asese on timenka neutrals na omo shout yes is omanya appointments omo timenkasa very soon core NDC members will start talking about doing so on say Volta region you see minister Volta regional minister now MC
and Volta regional minister any MP the friend say krampo
now complain they say doom so ados for Volta region okay say MPP abai
there be NDC
okay now enra pa metie menya penyi John Dramani Mahama Obeka say we campaign mode Greater Accra my goodness promises any big push near big push be me say big push we be Ghana solve Ghana problems na $10 billion no e me bisa na big push ask we kra ye ko fa wan
so why
because Ghana electricity Ghana BBI electric energy sector your road sector and no road so kan erudi my goodness
was say oba be dualize o Kumasi kwan adesu ye gusu ye na na kufa do start ai
and I Kumasi kwan the dualization do na NPP
na ye
una say na zia ye ko
but name boy ye aba na mo ka 24-hour economy oboy no so na me bisa say na 24-hour economy no so be ye juma na ajo founders welders near here we can say this for yeah now mo your campaign from day one now you say omo who say ade na entro welders omo national chairman say omo ba 24-hour economy so bo ye welder
menya juma
ewia nka 24 hours so mo pa mi say this for ka say ya mo analyze you
at 12 hours na o mati free mo
o mati ewia na free mo
akwaya na jope
omo say wo ye for welders ni na ma no menya juma ewia because on ajo mo ti light bill no meti so boom so that o wa be ye juma na ajo na wa nya mfa so na ewia no enka 24 hour kom omo ka we nyina Ghana fo entie
anipa dwempo amaso
Peter Yanko me say the minim ya no mo
please Peter Yanko
yo the brand crash so ba me no
ye be cut
me call back to the dollar no
okay
hwe dollar nsensem no nim enipa na oye ade no sameje mfina nkese no wababo ntina be pacho
dollar wa ma me anka
me ma wo kan won wanka
wababo ntine abe pacho enti se wo ye MPP ni
ba so wo shade
whatever position
and Mr. Won TV lo so
na wanzo no
wako wia wa de hwehwe o de kwose dem fast
obi generator obi
ko wia de kwose
because baby edu no
ohia pa akwado se uhrokra de de no wo se wo set yanko Peter me da Mr. Sante
me say enipa na nkese na asam ne fa no ho no eye owura asam gemfi baba apontra be pacho enti so we MPP ni ana say we neutral or whatever na so onye ehwe a sabi o na wo no asama enti nipa no onya hwe a anka opacho nti ede nti na opacho ene ye an admission say
bacho mane kana semai
hey ha na obody pa we MPP ni na when e ka asem no enye MPP deputy communications director
anti mi money din
my goodness so why are you here abo papo nidi ni eden owusu bempa
na da say enyo
na sa dem na mi hikura na say o kasa awie no the party didn't act o na mo ko holy press conference they say me report to say Sami Jefi aye boni nipa na o kaka say onye boni all come communication no what did you tell him Kwasiafo say your party mu amuso mayanka
David Audi bacho David Audi twese
ya na me fa ne masa ma me jiji
me bacho ye no de ye betwa asa we are sorry for that
you are sorry for what
that before the insulting word in there
some of them when they you see it is very painful who build there no mu omu they are
me na make come
when this guy was never do her when this guy was playing phone card games not me MPP ni
yeah
okay Kwasiafo a mo ye dirty jobs o ma monti mo on power bin ma on ka Kwasiafo when this guy was
it's not your turn David Peter Yanko Peter Kawasem
program game say Yanko be na so because
Peter Kawasem and once again we are apologies Peter won kasa me ko
Asame me said ya would afa abuo fu no
no
me Peter kana sem
you know what they did to him the only thing they did to him is take him out of WhatsApp group
no entoka
Peter be ba just stick to it Peter Kawasem
Godon Kawasem nyina na say there is everything wrong with what Sami Jefi did in fact ono ankese no ma ankese code of conduct no cry talks about openness actually the obi a chade ye nyina chade amafo so che yade but who could do be a or say o hwe ohun ye who occupy certain position no be a ye em say nyina gina so bi tintina oba abonte be tunte wanye ni ye ebi even bi oji crampo countless times almost say yen hwe ye dollar say the ye see there e use your Ghana ha sidi ni yedi nti so nam na aban mu panyini sidi ni hu a eno so eye nti there's everything wrong with what he did ono aba bontan me penasa and I would do even though ne bofu dey ba we dey obeja tum say weekend you two kwan no na me ka chen say the president mama yi na dey be me ya pa na would me boa
because enye ne kasa o kasa tia some in the past anka we me obi anko report say ne dollars ayira omo na omo so omo they should not show opulence
yes
sani am I omo code of omo asem but ne mo kasa che yes
so hu say dollar anasika puduo bi wo aban mu panyin bi won ma yenche no yes yen konko hwehwem that is why I support the MPP's petition from penifo bi petition to the OSP wadamfo any other station petition say omunye hwehwem no because uni by the day no it is even on one interest Sami
at least long last one complete
Yanko conviction all right Mati ejebusa for Peter Komano no koka Yanko dumso
OSP enya convention
OSP bacho OSP and the be you so de dumso galamse any MPP statement mo de ba bonten OSP the who cares about OSP yes
yen hihye ne no ma bi ayeye akoya ti say animal farm games na ayeye so yenya here
mo de sa abuduna mo man fans mo sa akoye mo ko
say we are penny when issue statement say mo bia enye campaign in this anoma ni e wo WhatsApp group mo now boys e post to artwork yes anoma e ma ade na wo kan e say
hwanya
general secretary of America
why den
me say statement na wo kan me can say nobody do wa yen aye kan wo kan wi na wa ho ma e wo WhatsApp group ma omo ye entiansa na ebi ombe issue statement no ma nkofo na e hwe wase no wo system no mo monti ase say this is the direction so that the omo ma won be ye mockery adeɛ na wa posted da ye posti adeɛ na na ne artworks e wo various groups emwa ɛyɛ saa na asɛdeɛ wo pɛsɛ wo ka obi hye na wo ebie kwan ma wo enim ya mpanimfoɔ one yɛte sɛ aboa papo mo invite no your friends additional corruption yɛ ntehwe access say wabu ne waye na adwene say disrespect ɛne saa noma no ɛna ɔde bɛma mpanimfoɔ mo ne nkasa no yɛ offer na mo kɔfa na man position ade yɛ me dey say the position so ɛnyɛ baabi ɔkɔ contest yɛ na kasa obi de to abama mo na mo appointed nti mo appointed no mo ntumi hu sa ade na ɔyɛ no is hurting the party they say yɛduru baabi a nkrɔfoɔ moral were down enti bibi kitwa bi ɔmo bɛyɛ no ɛka party no yɛnhwɛ ne yɛnkorrect
me that's it
ɛna chief lamenter ɛfo lamenter na lamenter yɛsrɛw de yɛhia ne kanea saa wo ba betena TV so no ayɛ wani dazzle so wabo sɛ wani ne kum no we don't need those things go and fix the light it me makase Ghana for yen either say we demonstrate against the guy to be removed because I say on any president compete incompetence he just wants to take away the titles from his boss say energy sector na e dia man no or ye quote and read baba yembe kind of practical work on to me ye I say sikari nya bedru no open ne ni age hey minister si sikaba ba light ne so e nyina so inti sikani ba o de ko hede se wo se eye fa ngo ne sa no ma ne ma light no ko off na sikani e ba na e koto den what you see the level of corruption uni dem BNDC ni be disika bia no this o press conference yehu dede a na o mo benefactors no na ye de ama ubehu ana hwenko dumso no is still on enu anwumre opego no and other places there were no lights for like 3 days entina o da so ti ho you are a failure and you need to go adenonya entina naka so ne boss they are fighting over the incompetence as a bear dame media media we don't need him these are the things I see ka ho asem normal society yeah you betu an kasa MPP ya ahwe han for 4 years e betu ho na obeba no e be ye problem a wo ntumi solve enti intentem na no ma yemhunu na obi yenhu se ade we enye nyemfa ni solution minia medas
abano opego no ese no anakania no na adum
ni ani kanea sprinters between sprinters ni good any man
I think say what you holding tra omoto mo ndi asibi so
hey e ho de anya kra o de bia
ba me hwe na say
ntu emuda
any opego no hipa na ekrum
opego no
ya ho ekrum
ba ho opego da sprinters o
Minister, who right hand side and now left hand side? And Bɛkyerɛ.
And Kandani Nima na. Kandani Nima.
Ufri Accra.
No, Ufri to say Ufri Kwabenya call Ablikuma. Double road no cost.
Okay. And I'm a popular stand ho left hand side.
Papa no. America say oh yeah
na ayi
popular stand. Oh na ni na efe.
There be am say what you so wrong side am.
Also call Ablikuma say left hand side.
Okay, into o call Ablikuma no left.
See. So me oh yeah me kwan o. So na me fa. Oh dey fie dan no ye kama.
Ba light re nye kama.
Light re kama. Omo tie yi airport here say. In fact airport, airport kwa ko dum so che no.
Because all the standards say twice a week.
Now what you pay for na see airport.
Twice a week, every 2 weeks, every
ade ana no na ye de ehwa ye ho.
Oh.
say Ghana airport ade bia esi ni gina mu saa ndum kan
na talk about pego no ho
me to Mahama time and I make to generator small one they can power
pocket size ni
at least it can power a lot of things. All my TV here 8 years of Akufado man use generator.
That's true.
Man use in fact Mahama buy all me who say amount for be TikTok advert say Charlie papa no asaba and no for generator na me so me service me me service we ya na within 1 week na ya hono
almost adam me call me ba mo area ho say me ka say me ba ho na normal spin test road na yinya animu no na Akufo-Addo san ye ba kutu na chi manet ho de ya eso see na me fa ho adapo me yirai na nsuo to ti me fa me bedro yi no flower pot no me use the wrong exit. That was my first time I'm mayra won kran krum anajo na nsuo to na the groom I give visa asa ya ko baby na me drew me who say ayi na bu ato ho road sign no match say tashi and that tashi ayi abuda for mo etimi ni mu say abuda no say aro no she be ko say before my day hey look that me brave baba na dwena nsuo to but me I kept asking myself every etimi fa wager food bridge bi ya no so o maye no kwan no so a o mawie I kept asking myself say and they be pa the call wrong wa and many people lose relations because because boot for boot performance health education infrastructure nobody no president will match the performance of Nana Akufo-Addo ebo match say na the papa no magician na it makes said there's more to politics than performance. Sanity. Minister, yam say yeah say.
Synagogue, sorry.
Me fa omo de ya mo block kwan ni nyina. Ai.
Sa kwan na nyo musika na ede ye kwan.
Na ho sika na ede.
Asori sika na ede ye kwan.
Omo block kwan no.
Omo block no ma ye other 2 lanes no go and come. And the Ghana police wo gina ho e protect mo use double lanes. One say oh inner lane. I go and come. And our outer one so person park and so person you here. Sa ho ni nyina Sundays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Untumi pa ho. From the end to the end. Eye cars nko na park ho. Eye taxpayers money but Asare no and the police will be now and they force you to use a lane that is unprescribed.
Bibinia aya nya wotre on say Ghana ha no say public property and public road for whatever reason who use to announce that ye bibi near ya your kwan wo faso
public order act no
the church will write to the internal police for some wo ebebo ana this omo ya
keke say menti busa na ma betna ha aka no me busa me call commander ni catch them say you have the medium to speak about it. It's beyond me.
In
fact, what the commander told me.
In fact, me so you see this is not the first time. And say judge be krati area ho. Ama wono so da so pie krompo ba na the fie ni mu nyina o ma block kwan ni nyina. Say police for kra o ma bam e the application aba ama grant krompo the inconvenience is too much. Review it. What you make say? Imagine if you go put some the crack akomo so mo bom kompa. The inconvenience na one do. Review whatever a year ma grant them so that we'll be able to manage them kama. Minister, ayi adongo. Ushe social media obia me hu say President Mahama enim de wonim ti so adongo ama ni post no.
Mahama is
the man no say o man Bank of Ghana governor because governor a board member because board member die you don't talk. If you board chairman Krempono, hardly will you hear board chairman. Me pacho. Ukasa as committee chairman. Committee, Mr. Miyanya, Kayini. Now, Rebecca say, Would have been saying until Okasai, yes, but and some of what he said, no, he spoke on behalf of the governor of Bank of Ghana. In fact, a Nina BBNT now Coco board, Oko Senate, and the Bank of Ghana, or PR department in the infernal PR, public affairs or corporate affairs. There's more to it. There's a reason. Enter public relations, corporate affairs or public affairs. In fact, interviews are about the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Why obey piano? If I saw yet 10, 8, I scripted.
Yeah.
Or yet 10, at least 8, I scripted. And yes, I said, be a governor or bone, governor. But I saw making sure say. Narrative na everybody na it news to the benefit of Ghana. Questions mbusa no. Oba set question mbusa man ahead. No aka say question we go no. Busa ni this way say the be ya to elicit the right answer. Na wakotena ho. Oh, wa ukuta ultimi nkwa bank bia enkoyi usika wo dollars sim wo dollars ba he advance catches when I catch our etiamra need 2 hours. Na governor. If I catch us who yi. Oh, Busa say when 1941. Wagisbank type 1927. Ah, now why ya can someone and then dollar yamin chadie ujafo and to kohuna kokun yenti ewiase nyina dollar obia kan sika appreciate against the dollar bayan kwaye die say a devalue say ya blame adongo because sade na wo ye ne koso fear and panic. So Bank of Ghana was forced to come and tell the world say Adongo is a discredited personality, don't trust him. Oma almost oboa now case obi boa onye discredited obi so obi boa I was Adongo a discredited person etino de wakaye no wanyade minister but me mouth 2 minutes ana minister mouth 2 minutes be na your five rapport yeah ko say Adent.
Oh, say. Okay, say and
be part of Fachemi. We no the Peter Cass be because Fachemi. Peter Cass say try balloon. There is that possibility. Beba because tie Professor Mills Mota omu ye bi. Na pa ko see Mr. Ata na governor of the Bank of Ghana. Omu ye bi ka say wo do sika to baba all the dollars ko to banker. Ube ye fa mam ye see this amount. Me I suffered it. I know what I'm talking about. You complaining here and sana omo reverse is hard no. There's the possibility say be no more dwendwen ho.
Say okasa wie na no mo frɛ awua bankers association omo
president.
President. And obekasa and he spoke against it. Say obekasa so
they don't take instructions from
and apart from that even added square say some say BOG better take such a decision now omo consult to omo
yes
they will not and they cannot implement such a but the tone in how kasa no and I'm say a force BOG ma omo be issue statement in terms
so trial balloon when you say trial balloon what to what end to what effect
oh
that say feedback
Peter allow me advice no
who advise the
say anytime so be play devil's advocate one day or not be devil
am I no
yeah Peter so play devil's advocate
am what the best of
Asuba one day wow better
but me come minister yanko and few am what
one say generally no there is this posturing of the NDC
yes
and no modi opposition and no modi sa posturing na ba power aya no mu refi so ma win election and the politics is over and it is now time for governance ebi na manifesting honorable Adongo interview you know why they even behave as if say even the private sector no should be politicized everywhere. Oh yeah be say oh soldier for police for you are warned yeah be way yeah be sake so almost start sake public servants who NCA ni bibia to omo dey dru bank ho And you don't get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Aya na yeka say under President Akufo-Addo ayeka scam pede no monte ase. The financial sector, especially for a situation as Ghana, obo ha wonim system no man no dey be compare Ivory Coast ni ade. Ghana has a country with an estimated population of 32 million. Yanko aye. Okay.
Why for some one? Oh, let me go see my wife as I was a jack. Yeah, let me say,
Yanko aye ne a currency. Yanko under Francophone colonization, we policy of assimilation.
Yeah.
Yes, you can go France, and I say ye Nisefa, ye autonomy, any idea currency. Vis-a-vis our population, mostly, and yes, say, President Akufo-Addo ne Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and America first our gold reserve program you buy. Say, we should use the gold purchase program to do two things. One, to build buffers at the BOG, and two, to do the gold for oil program. But yeah, because Nangina Swan say, ye see the near volatile. Because young Kwan it is not anchored on anything. And if there is any shake in the world market, affect you so much because your trade be a direct or adverse impact on us. And in the city, no, we had that a better journey for 15 about 7 cities now, say Johnny
yeah.
But because the NDC, no, because of over politicization in the BB, I'm doing man better tomorrow. What the parliament then my instruction to banks to take notes of a decision that the Bank of Ghana is about to take that they haven't even published. Even if that was the case, wouldn't say you don't to board be also in this country also an oath of secrecy.
Yeah.
And I want your way. And to say, board meeting, mumpona sa privileged information. It is not in your place to come and divulge such information. If the bank and answer the board decides to put that information out, it will come through official channels and management to make you to say be by statement and not press and BD. And I go for not be a press conference rough. It is only 1 year yes IMF program no. And a very staff level agreement. I be an announcement and it has to be a joint effort between the IMF, Ministry of Finance and the BOG. And then they will come and talk about the agreement. But when over politicization, politicians no they still think that they are in opposition. Campaign mode do not know now will be the Sika to bank on a directing the ones spending the Sika. Do they know what democracy is? You call democracy because if I say a killing monopoly human rights edit be achieving the dreams in this life. And you know, I was happy say the BOG brought a very swift response
to the lies of a
to
the lies of
absolutely
a board member of BOG.
Absolutely.
If I were him and if he had conscience, he has to resign. But of course, 1 year and you know, Mr. Sante pictures me be akwara baako na asofo baako fa akwara no to so mame why na and wudi ni birthday na ye hwe ne celebrate no sisi yansa na masore so akwara die ne ho fe pa esa be ba ho da bi da me ba di sa wo chan mi won ne tete kwa chan mi we ya say enti ye friend no princess ni maame Franca o wa hojo da bank kumase na ne ba no edin birthday nti princess happy birthday nyini ne be ye brilliant and humble to say Haji Samira Bawumia what enti no nyame chade na would birthday no na role model so na we still say no princess happy birthday why okay but yanko next one so we there be mu nyina mo hwe so mo ma me comment answer ba kwa ba ona bo hwe so hwe tv no so why ni Peter hwe of akwati nua
me no pa
muso was of akwati and we ye fe no Reverend Emmanuel J and we na of akwati di nechi we no of akwati di nechi direct nti and then what this 60 happy 60th birthday.
Happy birthday.
And we the baby will be a rev and the party in the end and next says Saturday. It's a chat to me. I say a ben as right there with the communal baby who yes, sir. It's rev. Happy birthday, baby. Will be an Bushafuni na Bishop Yawuswan San, Daughters of Glory Jesus, Wawaba, Unia Kwabanane, Bushafuni na say, me mom, happy birthday from me, God Asare-Bediako, and the team that were having no. Your mom, happy birthday. No. I'll do, Yanko, just a minute. Never wrap up, Pastor. Just a minute, why?
Trouble to what?
Don't respond to him.
No, I'm not responding to him. No, look, reckless comment.
From
Adongo. Now,
okay.
Me say me body you. Reckless comment. Now, Kasano. When him say me dollars me nibi. So when him say the okay no. So BOG issue swift response no. Obi and Adri say or the ne sika ebe kwa ko save the dollars ko banga. When him say anka on fanko. Do you know the effect? It means that people will be keeping their dollars at home.
They said they will be salary be ebeye.
Because even this one cry effect na ebenya no. Because you don't even know what because ebia ade a oma planning na ono odi ade ni pie.
Okay, yeah, sorry so. Me that's
a reckless comment.
Right.
No.
Eti enabusafo ene Saturday na enra asemisi ohana the rule kanase. The rule was recalling ebra ne papa efrimu. Na okase se hearse no se Ghana de taka no ayi ambulance but hearse ni dianga sa the hearse ni de fa efunu no se etwemu a wen wa rekopɔ na yi obufu ben na bɛbɔ kwa rekɔ bɛ yi obufu ento ene nipa bibire busu afɔ da fom ayi ekɔ ne ade yensi obi aden obi atab no beso mehwɛ picture bia na obi ye picture bi ewiase ni na nipa nyina asa like ya je say we ko na we ko we for na we ko ebe osan de ade bi hye nchen say ya san lie enso nchen say that also 45 for you go be the 45th person to go we be say ta be fa ho akọ enti no obi a time be so but weekend na wo munyo enya na boko be is a desk keeper